Hey guys, this is Eddie, and I'm going to be putting in a Pioneer stereo, CD player slash Apple Carplay radio into a 2006 Honda CRV. Um, so basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I'm using for tools, how I'm going to wire it up, and then how to install it right into the vehicle. So I got the radio, obviously. There's a nice radio out of the box. I got my installation kit, my dash installation kit. I put links to all this in the description, so if you guys want to check those out on Amazon, you can check it out. I got this all on Amazon. Got the wire harnesses that came with the stereo. Wire harnesses that I had to buy extra. So that's the other harness I bought, and that's the adapter, so I don't have to cut the wires in the dash. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire this right on the bench here, and I'll use some shrink wrap. And I know a lot of people disagree with me just twisting the wires together and then using shrink wrap over them, but that's how I've always done it for the past 35 years. I'm not going to change. Once the shrink wrap's on it, I take the mini torch here and I shrink wrap the tubing right onto wires. It's a great connection, never have any issues. Nothing ever loosens up. I mean, it's in a dash. There's vibration and stuff, but we're not an aircraft here. It's just a car stereo. So let me get this going, and I'll show you how I do it. All right, so the wire adapter for the Honda. Actually, this looks a little weird, but it's supposed to be for Honda. I will find out. I am going to go check that just to make sure. But on the back of the bag, it has the color codes for the wires. Tells you where to put them together with the radio wire set. So let me go check this wire harness.
All right, guys, this is the 2006 CRV. I usually use a spatula. It's either like a paint scraper or something. It's got a very thin edge here. It's tapered, and it fits in the gaps pretty easily. Sometimes you gotta push it in there. So I already took everything apart, but then I reassembled it so I could show you guys how everything comes apart step by step. I just wanted to make sure there was no screws or anything that was hidden that we might have to take out. So basically you take out this part here. Looks like a little speaker up top here. It's just a plastic cover. That part has to come out first. You basically stick your spatula in there and you get a nice square edge on that, and then you lift it and it should pop right out. You have these little clips in here. There's 4. All right, and then you got a couple of small clips up front that just snap in as well. There is a little spot up here, as you can see. Again, you put this, you place this in between the radio and the vents, and you pop it forward like that, and then you grab the back of the vents here and you pull forward. Okay, it is, like I said, I already have these things disassembled just so it makes it a little easier for the video. You have your hazard switch right here and your passenger side airbag light. You have to disconnect the wire right here to get that out. But what I was talking about is you got this little piece here. You can stick a little screwdriver, because these are the 2 pieces that come together. So you can stick a little screwdriver in there and pop this up. Pop these 2 clips up, and then you can peel up the rest of it. Okay? So take those, put those aside. There is 2 8mm screws right above the radio. I just used a long extension with an 8mm socket, and the screws look like this. They're an 8mm. You can use a Phillips head, but a lot of times what happens is these screws are really tight and you end up rounding that out. It's easier to use an 8mm socket. And then for the bottom half, this piece here was the hardest piece I had to get out. Because I wasn't really sure how it popped out. This plastic is super easy to mar up. So, I mean, if you're doing this for somebody, be really careful. It's real easy to make marks in this. But anyways, so you got to take out the heater panel first. It pops out. It has a bunch of clips as well. My thought is, you can't take the faceplate off around the radio before you take out the HVAC unit. And the HVAC unit snaps into this piece. So this HVAC unit is the first piece you should try to pop out. All right, just take your tool, get in underneath it, and pop it out. There's clips on the bottom and the bottom corners. And there used to be one here, but it broke off when I was taking out the radio faceplate. But there's another one here, and there's another one here. So basically you get in here, and you get behind here, and you have to pop this out as well. And you just be very gentle when you're doing it, and it will come out. Actually, I snapped this one back in pretty good, so you can see that it's not super easy to get out. There's a clip right here between the bottom half, straight in this area here. See, we all struggle. So if you're having a tough time with it, don't fret. I mean, they're not easy to do. These clips they hold everything in really tight. Let's see if I pop this bottom half out too as well at the same time. Maybe that'll make the process a little bit easier. You can get right up in here. I'll show you where the clips are all located once I get it popped up. Good thing I took it apart first, right? So make it nice and easy for the video. I did struggle pretty good with this one because of the clips. They just make it so damn tight. There we go. Man, it wouldn't let go. Okay, so this piece comes out. As you can see, let me pull out the HVAC unit here. It's a little connector right here. Actually, I don't even have to pull it out. I mean, or disconnect it. I'm just going to leave it like that. But below, as you can see, this little piece here fits right into the bottom here, and it snaps into place. It's just to keep everything tight. And like I said, be careful because you can mar up the plastic real easy. So if you're doing this for somebody, just be really careful. One of the clips stayed. Oop, there we go. So I'll have to go find that before I put it all back together. Not sure where that went. That went down pretty far though. So that's all disassembled. You do have 2 more 8mm screws here to remove. I do have a magnetic screwdriver with a ratcheting handle, which makes things really easy. Plus you won't drop the screws, or you know, you're less likely to drop the screws because they stay attached to the screwdriver. And this should just pop out, right? Again, it has clips, so it is a little tough to get out here. once that's out, you have a connector back here, which is, actually there's 3 connectors. One's for your antenna, which is right there. Let me see if I can show you guys. As you can see back here, see a little tab on top on each one of these. Basically, I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. You push the tab down and then you slide the connector out. Yeah, just like that, okay? That little tab right there. And the same thing with this connector as well. Once you have that out, the radio's out, and you're ready to install the new one. Okay, radio's out. Careful, the radio is sharp. These brackets are sharp. They don't make it user friendly. Right? This connector here, let me get this squared away here so you guys can see. All right, this connector here, that is your auxiliary connector. Goes into the back of the radio, and it's for the auxiliary port in the front here. All right, and I'm actually going to be eliminating that because I'm going to be running a USB port somewhere out of this dash. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet. That's one thing I do have to figure out. So that's how you get everything apart. All right, and I am going to try to use these brackets on the new unit because of the way it's all set up. The brackets that came in my installation kit don't look anything like this. So let's just get this down to the bench and see what we have to do in order to make it fit nice and neat. All right. All right, so basically what you're doing is you're lifting up one side of the tab, and you actually got to lift up both sides of the tab to get them off. Woo! And they will fly. Good thing I got that box sitting there. Catch that tab, catch the clip. So basically just, man, this give me some trouble. All right, so basically you're gonna slide these 2 little clips. I don't know if you can see that. Let me check this out. Yeah, so basically you're gonna slide those 2 little clips onto the new unit here. So those just basically slide right on. One thing, they have a little opening for that clip to slide onto. This one doesn't have the little opening. I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't know. I'll figure it out. And then I'll let you know what I did. Sometimes it takes a little bit of, adjusting in order to figure out where those brackets are going to land. So I might just go to the car and figure it out, and then I'll just let you know. Okay, so my trial run at the installation, I did put the metal brackets from the old radio, from the factory radio in. So basically I go up and under, I hook it to the 2 little pins there. All right, just 2 little pins. It fits nice in the dash. All right, and like I said, this is 2 separate pieces. This piece is separate from this piece. So I didn't put the clips in or anything yet on the back because I don't want to snap anything in place. This is just a trial run. I just want to see how it's going to fit. So as you can see, I mean, it looks like it's going to fit really nice. You know, it's nice edges and everything. The trim is nice here. You can't see behind it. I mean, it looks really good. So my question is, how does a CD player work? Does this screen pop out and then flip down? Because I think the CD player is behind the screen. I'm not really sure. I know, silly, right? I don't know what I bought for a radio. It's my kid's radio. I just wanted the Apple CarPlay. I really didn't want the CD player. It doesn't really matter to me. But anyways, I just don't want this trim piece here to interfere with that screen coming in and out. So I guess I'll see how it works once I get it all wired and everything, and install it, do a temporary or do a test run on it before I put it all back together. All right, so let's go wire this thing. All right, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wire color to color. Get this. This is my antenna wire, and also this is your antenna wire for the car. But this also, the blue wire is a power antenna wire, which not a lot of cars have that anymore. Some of the older cars did, you know, that power antenna. It just supplies the power. When you turn the car on in the radio, the antenna goes up. But a lot of cars don't have it. And I was talking about that USB port that I will be installing. I think I got an idea for that, and if I do go with it, I'll show you what I did. But yeah, so this is gonna install inside the back of the radio, and then this is gonna come out the front of the dash somewhere. I just gotta figure out how to do it, but I got an idea, so we'll see. All right, and this is the connector, which is correct. Now they cut each wire for you, all right, and then they leave the end of it on. As you can see, you can pull that right off. So if you're doing your green wires, see, you get 2 green wires here, 2 green wires here. One has a black tracer, one is just a solid color. One has a black tracer, and one is a solid color. So they just go green with a black tracer, goes to green with a black tracer. All right. Any wires that you don't use, which I'm not sure which ones you won't use here, but if there is any that you don't use, like that they cut back, you know, leave the end on here, and then you can just slide it back to its position so it looks like the wire is not even cut. And you always want to tape the ends of these too, or you can just leave it like this, leave that like that, and then put a nice piece of either shrink wrap here or a piece of tape just to protect that wire. We'll be using the black though because it's ground. So all right, so basically what I'm gonna do, take a piece of shrink wrap, and let's see, I could probably get what I'll do is let me do a trial run. I'll go half on that. All right, so if I fold it in half, get the 2 parts almost equal here. All right, and then just cut it. There, 2 pieces of shrink wrap. I might even be able to go smaller. I might be able to get 3 out of these. Not sure. Haven't tried it yet. But you really only need like the size of a piece of tape to wrap those wires. So like that. There's a nice piece. And actually there's 3 pieces. One's a little short, but I think it'll be okay. So basically what you do, you take a piece of shrink wrap, you slide it over the wire. You take that end piece off, and so this is the green with the black tracer. So this is the green with the black tracer. You can use wire strippers, or you can just use pair of cutting pliers. I'm just going to use a pair of cutting pliers. And what I do is I'll take the two wires, I'll put them together like that, and then I will just twist them. This is a really good connection. I know people are gonna say, oh, you shouldn't do it that way, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? It works good for me, and that's the way I'm gonna do it. So basically, you lay the wire down on top of the insulated part. You slide this over like this. Make sure you get about halfway. And then you just take your little micro torch here. You can use, they got little guns for these, you know, electric guns you can use. I like the micro torch, works pretty good for me. So, all right, back in business. I'm just gonna heat this up. Oh yeah, look how nice that is now. Shrink wrap that baby right to the wire. Nice stuff. And make sure you do it all around the whole thing, so it puts a nice seal on that wire. It's inside of there, so it doesn't come unwrapped. Not that it will. I don't know how it would come unwrapped. It should be pretty good right there. Should be tight right around the end of the wire. It seals out moisture and everything too, so it's got a couple different purposes, you know. So anyways, that's how you do it. And should be good to go. This is a tiny wire on this side. This one's not so bad. So I don't know how well it's gonna, woo, that's hot shit right there. I don't know how tight it's gonna go, but it should be good. Should be good enough for government work. Anyways, all right, I'm gonna do the rest of the wires. Again, make sure you pay attention to the black tracer and black tracer. And whatever wires you don't use, either leave the caps on the end, put some shrink wrap on there, make sure it seals up, just so they don't short out when it's behind the dash. There's a lot of metal parts back there. All right, so let me get this all squared away, and then we can go do the install. Hopefully everything will work as designed. Okay, so I have it all wired. All my connectors and ends are all protected. Everything's tight. Great. Those aren't coming apart. As you can see, on one of the wires, I added a piece of wire so the shrink wrap would hold to it. But actually, if you just fold the wire over, like on this purple one, just fold it over, put the shrink wrap on it, shrink it down, good to go. Same thing with the blue one. I just folded it. It's just to protect the end, you know, so the bare wires don't touch any metal, you know, and short out and screw up your radio. Anyways, so the USB port, I'm gonna try something in the vehicle. I might come out through one of the little blank buttons, but the USB port should go right here. Plug right in, and I'm gonna run this up through my dash, and I don't want it to look crappy, so I gotta figure out what to do. But when I figure it out, I will show you. Yeah, so don't forget your microphone. Best place to kind of put that is up on the up on your visor, so that it hangs down right in front of the driver, you know, so that it picks up your voice really easily. All right, so let's give it a shot, see what happens. I have not plugged it in yet, so what you guys see is what's really going to happen here. Make sure you plug in your antenna wire. Sometimes the radio is grounded through the antenna wire, so it's a good idea to have that plugged in as well. Like I said, this is just a trial run, and then I'm going to run all my wires afterwards. Okay. It's like clockwork, you know? Okay, so let's see what happens here. Yay! Alright, so let's see if Apple CarPlay works. Cross your fingers. Let's see here. Yay! Apple CarPlay works. So, see, what you can do is you can bring up maps right on the screen, so you don't need GPS anymore. Android Auto is the same. Actually, this phone I haven't used in a long time, so that's why it's having a hard time bringing up a map. But you can use Apple Music. There you go. Works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to run this wire. I was actually going to run it right out through this little peg here, I mean this little blank, you know, so he could just plug his radio right into it. But I'm not sure if that's what I want to do, but I'm going to try to figure it out. They're easy to pop out. You go right in from behind here when the radio's not here. You can take a little screwdriver and pop them out, or you can get them from behind here and you can pop them out. And I was thinking maybe just make a little slice in the side here and then just run the wire out so it can't fall back in because the head's too big. And then I think that's a pretty good idea. I like that idea a lot. So I'm going to do that. And then as far as the, you know, you want to have this up in your visor somewhere. All right, so what I ended up doing was I took this rubber piece off and I clipped the microphone up. The headliner is up against the windshield, and you can kind of pull that down. It is flexible. So what I did was I hooked the microphone up there, ran the wire behind the plastic here, and then I took the rubber piece out and I ran the wire all the way down behind this rubber seal. As you can see, it's right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that it goes in behind the dash, and then I'm going to wire tie it underneath. I'm not going to show you guys that stuff. I mean, basically you get underneath the dash and make sure it's secure so your feet don't get tangled up in it, you know? I mean, it's pretty basic. And then I'm going to try to figure out where to put this USB port. Now I'm wiring up the wires underneath the dash. And just got to avoid any sharp edges because wires do move around and stuff if they're just hanging. So you want to secure everything. And I got some nice wire ties here. See this little end here? You got all kinds of holes in the frame underneath the dash. Plastic panels. You can even drill a hole so this can just pop in. And what you do is you just take this, you put the wire inside here and wire tie it, and then just pop it in the hole. You know, pop it in the hole and it's secured. I got another one here, same idea. Just holds the wire from, you know, dangling and getting in the way of your feet and stuff. So you can go to your auto parts store, go on Amazon, you can find these things. They're not too expensive, but it makes the job nice, and it, you know, prevents you from getting your feet all tangled up in the wires and shit. All right, to give you an idea what I'm talking about, is I got my wire right here. See how there was a hole up in the cross beam here, and I just snapped that little piece in there, and I just secured this. You know, keep it away from the steering column and stuff. I will wire tie it here so that it's out of the way. It's secure. But you just, you know, you gotta really pay attention to where you run the wire and stuff. So having these little wire ties is really cool. Okay, so what I did was I took some wire ties, tied up the wire harness. You know, I didn't make it super tight, but at least it's all snug together and it's ready to be tucked in behind the dash. And now I'm gonna try to, or I'm not gonna try, I'm going to run that USB cord to a usable position where it's not going to get in the way, because I don't want my kid having all these wires hanging all over the place. So give me a minute and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so far I took off the panels on both the lower half of the dash on both sides. What it is let's see. So you had a clip here, and a clip here. One of them, it has a small little screw in it, and you just back the screw out and it pops out. And the other one was just a push style, which was a bitch to get out. Everything's just so dry in this car. It's because it's old. But anyways, so I took that out, and I'm gonna take this piece out now, okay? And I'm pretty sure that it just is held in there by clips. So I'm going to show you. You know, the clips aren't they're not new, so they don't flex very easily. So sometimes you just got to use a little bit of brute strength and pop that shit out. And it's not easy sometimes. So. Hold on a second. There is a screw here, which I'm glad they put it down so low so you could see it real easily. It appears to be only one screw. You know, why would they balance it out with two? That would just be silly. Okay, so I have a cigarette lighter or power port on this side. Again, it has a little push tab, and you have to push it down in order to release it. So there it is. Now, like I said, everything's so dry and everything's cracking easy. I did break a tab off here. I also broke a tab off up here too. So I mean, there's so many tabs holding this thing in. I'm not going to worry about it too much, but I'm going to run the USB I think I'm going to run it right here. I'm going to run it out of here. That way, if for some strange reason he wants to tuck all his wires in and make it look nice and neat, which I doubt he will, he can just wrap everything up, put it in this little pocket here. But I'm going to have the wire come out right here. I'm going to drill a nice hole, and I'll run it through there. I'll wire tie everything so it's all secure. And again, I'll show you what I did. All right, so I have this step drill. It's not quite big enough, but it's going to be right there. So I think if I walk it around in the hole, we'll have enough room to bring the USB port through. So let's give it a shot. All right, so this is the back side. Here's the power port. I am going to put the hole right here. If you look at it from the other side, you know, there's your pocket. And I mean, usually you're looking down at your pocket like this. So your cord's going to come out like right here. So it's going to come down And it's gonna be perfect because you won't be able to see it, because there's no way you're gonna be looking up at that angle, ever. I mean, unless you're underneath the dash, which most people don't get under their dash and look up. So anyways, let's put the hole in. Plastic in his change there. I'll have to clean that out for him. But let's go see if this fits. Now see, you can see it like this, but like I said, you're gonna be mostly looking down at your dash like this, so you won't even see it. It's a perfect spot for it. Hopefully the USB port goes in there. If not, I'll just have to shave off a little bit of plastic on either side, which is not a big deal. All right, so I did have to open up the one side a little bit, but look at that. Slides right in, perfect. And then the other side, it's just gonna be like that. You're not even gonna see it, and you'll be able to have extra cord to pull out, and when you're not using it, just tuck it right back in there. Pretty cool, and I'm pretty happy with it. So this is the way it's gonna look. Actually, you won't even see that. I mean, unless you're sitting in the back seat and laying on the floor, looking forward, you know, like little kids do. But anyways, looks pretty sweet to me. Now let's put it back together. All right, so when you're running your wires and you put them, you know, you tuck them all on behind the radio, make sure you run it behind, you know, your USB cable and your mic cable, behind all this metal and stuff. There's a nice pocket back there where you can run your wires. Make sure that when you're running your wires that, you know, your wire doesn't get caught here in front of that screw or the bracket. Make sure it's always tucked up out and out of the way, so that it doesn't get pinched. If you pinch it and you screw something up, you like WTF. So just make sure that, you know, you're not, when you snap all these parts back in, you're not snapping a wire in between a panel or putting a screw into a wire when you're putting it all back together. So, you know, I just want to make you guys aware. I know a lot of you have no problem doing this, but people are doing it for the first time. I'm just trying to give them some pointers. All right. Another good tool to have. Another good tool to have is, it's a, I'm dodging the rain showers here, trying to do this video for you guys. It's to remove any type of body clip. You know, it works really well for popping out these body clips. And remember I was telling you that those wire ties have those little plastic pitons that you can pop into the holes. These are the holes I'm talking about. They're all over the place on the car. And you can buy those wire ties, and like this has already got one from the factory, and it just ties right to the bottom of the HVAC unit. So I mean, this is what I'm talking about as far as those wire ties. Nice little, makes the job nice and neat. You know, you don't even know that somebody put something in. Make sure everything snaps back into place and the panels aren't kind of dangling. There's a spot for everything. You know, like, let me show you this. So back here on this panel, you have a little boot back here. And if you look way back here, you can see it. See that hole right there? That little boot goes in there. Oh, my ass is getting soaked because of the rain. And it fits right in there. And then you snap the front of the panel in place. So make sure that all that stuff gets back into place when you're putting it all back together. It makes a big difference. Oh shit, is it raining? My ass is getting soaked here. Sorry, but it is. So, oops, I gotta take the screw out of this one. See how that has a screw head? Gotta back it out a little bit. So basically, see how the feet are spread back here? Oops. See how the feet are spread back here on the clip? So you take the screw and you back the screw out, and it's just plastic. But once you back the screw out, then these little feet squeeze back together, and then you can put it in the hole it's supposed to go in, and then you don't have to screw it back in, you just push it back in like that. You know, there's no need to screw it back in. Like I said, it's all plastic. Don't forget to put that screw back in behind there. I'm gonna do that right now. Now, when you put the screws in, make sure you just kind of put them in. You know, don't snug them. Don't snug one down and then try to put the rest in, because the brackets have to move around a little bit in order to put all the screws in. So only put one. Put the screws in loose, and then go back around and tighten them. It's nice to have your toolbox, because you know what? Tools don't go bad. You buy them once. And if you buy Snap-on, you never have to buy it again, because they're lifetime. I'm not advocating for buying Snap-on tools. Just stating the facts, Jack. You know what I did forget to check though? I want to see how the radio comes out, because I don't know how the CD is ejected. So let's check this out. Okay. So see, that's where the CD player is. And I'm not sure how you put it back in. Used to be a button right on the end here, but I guess you'd have to hit that again, and we'll go back up. So my question is, if this is in place, which I don't have it in place just yet, how will it affect not bad. Okay. I'm all right with that. Cool. Let's rock and roll, baby. So, what I suggest when you're putting it back together, you can put your HVAC unit up like this. Well, obviously you got to get this around the shifter. But get this piece in first, because this is a bitch. Because you got this piece here, it just doesn't want to release. So snap that all in place first. And if you want to make your life even easier, make sure your parking brake is on if you're on a hill. And take it out of park, because it gets in the way. And before I do this, because there's a couple clips that have to go at the bottom of the radio here. I'm so organized, it's unbelievable. My thought is, you can't take the faceplate off around the radio before you take out the HVAC unit. And the HVAC unit snaps into this piece. So this HVAC unit is the first piece you should try to pop out. All right, just take your tool, get in underneath it, and pop it out. There's clips on the bottom, in the bottom corners, and there used to be one here, but it broke off when I was taking out the radio faceplate. But there's another one here, and there's another one here. So that faceplate has to go on first. And this HVAC unit, when you're disassembling it, take this out first when you're doing the lower half, because that will make your life a lot easier. And like I said, it's just those 4 clips, one in each corner. They're a bitch to get out, but you don't really have a choice. I mean, if you're gonna take it apart and you're gonna try to do this, you don't have a choice. Just do it already. Yeah, these clips, I don't know if they're gonna work or not. We will soon see. Okay, so what I did was I drilled a little hole in each one of those tabs, and the clips seem to fit and snap into place, which that's all I was looking for, was them to snap into place. And they're gonna work now. They're gonna hold up, they're gonna hold in place. You know, I just hate doing a hack job, and not putting those clips in would be a hack job. And I don't like doing those things. I wouldn't do it to my kid, I wouldn't do it to a customer. So actually they fit like factory, which is sweet. I haven't tried putting them in yet. This is the first attempt. So hopefully they snap into place. Come on, one's gonna be a bitch, right? You fucking kidding me? Why don't we try that one first? What is wrong with this one? I don't get it. This one just does not want to go in. And I do not know why. Alright, let's try this one more time. It's right there. There we go. Hey, you know what they say? If at first you don't succeed, get a bigger hammer. Alright. I just want to see if this ejects. It does. It's a little... It hits a little bit, but I'm okay with that because I highly doubt he's going to use the CD player. You know, with the phones nowadays, what do you need a CD player for? Anyways, so this is it. Snap this back into place, which, like I said, that's missing one, but at least it has 3 other ones. Snap that all back into place. Looks good to me. Don't forget to plug in everything. You know, your charging port down there and everything. When you're putting it all back together, don't forget your airbag light, because you will have a airbag light on. Oops. Son of a bitch. Come on, man. Damn, that thing's freaking tough. You want to make sure you get that little clip at the top, you know, to go in behind there, because that's what makes the fit and finish so nice. That's in. That's in. Yeah, sometimes you gotta use a little bit of force. So this one, you probably want to stick the back side in first. Or maybe not. Maybe the front side in first. Nope. Back side in first. Alright. That's it. Got my USB port. Now, if you do have steering controls, which this one doesn't, thank God, you can buy a kit for the steering controls. There is an option on the back of this radio for a backup camera. That was what that big green wire was. That was for the reverse switch. When you put it in reverse, the camera would come on. This does. I don't want my kid with a backup camera. He can learn how to back up. He's an awesome driver anyways, doesn't matter. But everything seems to fit. I mean, it's not 100% perfect because it's not Honda parts. But look how nice that is. And you plug in your Apple CarPlay and sweet. Any questions, comments? Leave them in the box below. Tell me what you think of the video. It's only 4 hours out of my life that I'll never get back. So I hope you enjoy. Hope this helps you. Like I said, you got any questions, leave them in the box below and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Take care, guys. So that's the finished product, guys. Everything's all nice and tidy back up. Everything looks good. Microphone is right up there in the corner. Alright, the wire is behind this panel here. It goes down here, running underneath the dash. I do have the wire coming out from down there for the USB. And it looks amazing. It sounds amazing. I wish I could play it for you. Not that you'd get the gist of it anyways, but I can't play any type of music on YouTube here because of music rights. Anyways, enough of that.